Alright, hi guys, this is Tremaine Hudson. I'm one of your site coordinators for the York College Vital program for the 2012 tax season, and I just want to welcome everybody to the program. Thank you for showing your interest, and I hope that your experience here will be definitely worth it and that you guys will take something from this. Alright, what I'm going to be doing for you guys today is just kind of going through some of the basics as far as the materials that everybody should have received once you're watching this video, where you can go to practice the returns in the materials, and also how to use our homework spreadsheet, which is required for everybody to complete each of the return and submit their homework spreadsheet before attending the second session. Alright, so on my screen right here, you guys should have a copy of this book. It's the IRS publication 4491W. What this basically is just a book where you can go and practice fictional client returns, which are very similar to what an actual client would be presenting to you. Alright, in this book, you have different levels of returns that you can practice, whether it's basic, intermediate, advanced, etc., etc. So if you feel like you're doing a set of returns and maybe it's too easy for you, you can always move on to a different section of the book. They do get progressively harder as you go along. Alright, just to show you guys an example, on page 7 you're going to find the Rose Hudson exercise, which is exercise 1. Now the first page that you're going to be seeing is a copy of their intake interview sheet. What this is pretty much their basic information as far as our personal, like mailing address, their first name and last name, zip code, are they a U.S. citizen or not, if they're single, if they have any dependents. So it's basically just getting a quick look at what your client's situation is. Alright, and then page 2 of this intake interview sheet gives you a little bit more detailed breakdown of this. So it gives you an income, expenses, and life events section. The income represents all the different sources of income that your client could possibly have. In this case, we notice that our two clients have 2 boxes checked off here. That is for wages or salaries, and also for interest dividends. For their expenses, that do not have any of these expenses listed, so you already know even before you begin the return that you won't be dealing with any of these. And for life events, same thing, our client here has none of these checked off, so you know that as far as expenses and life events, you won't be having to be worrying about any of these. You're only going to be dealing with their income for this return. Alright, pages 3 and 4 for the practice exercises, you don't need to refer to these at all. It has no relevance to the problem itself. Alright, just showing you an example of what it looks like. It also gives you a copy of your client's social security number. Where you see the 6 X's, you're actually going to be filling in those with your 6-digit ID number, which I will later be showing you guys how you can get. So even though you see the 6 X's, you might be wondering, what numbers do I enter here? Do I just put in random numbers, or is it like a specific code? It is going to be your 6-digit ID number, and I will show you guys an example of this before the end of this video. Alright, it also gives you some interview notes for your client, which kind of gives you a little bit more understanding of where your client is coming from. This here tells us that this client is full-time student at a local college, and she received a full scholarship. So you already know where your client is in terms of her life. She's a student. She received a full scholarship, so you know that she has no college expenses tuition wise. Alright, she's not married. She moved into her own apartment, and her parents supported her until the end of this February, and they continue to help her with her bills. So what this basically means is that now she does live on her own as of March 2011, and you know that her parents were supporting her within those first 2 months of the year, and they continue to help her with her bills. So what this means is that you know that she's not a completely independent person. She worked nights and weekends as a shift manager and maintained the company's accounting records. See, it gives you an example of her job situation, and it says that if there is a refund she wants sent to her own home, if she owes taxes, she'll pay by check. Again, for these examples, you won't be dealing with any bank accounting information, because again, these are all fictional returns, so you will never be having to actually deposit money into their bank account. But these are just things that you want to look out for when you do have your real client. And for the last one, it says that she wants to contribute to the presidential election campaign fund. Now there's an option on every return for inserting this, and you will see this yourself when you do actually get into the return. Alright, here we have a copy of her W-2 form. It gives you her wages, tips, other compensation, federal income tax withheld, etc., etc. And it also gives you a copy of her interest income, right, which is from her bank. So for every return that you do start, it's going to give you an overview of your client situations through the interview notes, the intake interview sheets, and her tax documents. Between all of these, you should be able to complete any of your clients' returns without missing anything or having to research anything about the specific client anywhere else. Everything related to your client will be in the exercise. It's a matter of looking through for what you need and what you don't need. Alright, now that's it for the publication 4491W. Now the publication 4012, everybody should also have this. This is pretty much your guide as far as maneuvering the site and also maneuvering the forms. Now if you guys find that these videos were not enough to help you as far as getting the complete understanding, you can always refer to the publication 4012 or send us an email, with either one is fine. In the 4012, it has all the information such as how to add link forms, how to use the software, where to enter certain information. Alright, if you guys take a look at the yellow tabs in the book, the yellow tabs actually explain what you enter on each of the forms and how each of the forms work. So if you're dealing with a specific form and you're not sure where to put the income, would you put it on line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you want to refer to the yellow tabs in the publication 4012. Now for the blue tabs, those help you as far as the software itself is concerned. So if you guys realize that you might be missing a form where you need to enter a return, you realize that your client has interest income, but you don't have a Schedule B form and you need to add this in, how do you do this? If you're not sure, again, publication 4012 has all the information that you need in there, so you guys don't have to worry about feeling unprepared or anything like that. Alright, so these are pretty much the two main books that you're going to be using from our material package. Now I'm going to head over and show you where you can actually go to practice the returns, and it's going to be at this website, which is voltaxprep.com. At this website, we have our practice simulator program where you can go practice returns, continue your old returns, etc., etc. Now once you guys enter in voltaxprep.com, which is voltaxprep.com, it's going to prompt you to a page here where it's going to ask you for a password. The password is learn2, that is LEARNTWO. You're going to spell everything out. One thing to note is that the software works best with Internet Explorer. This means that if you do decide to use any other browser, you might encounter a lot more technical difficulties than actually using Internet Explorer. So we recommend always using Internet Explorer if you're going to be practicing any of your returns. Alright, so once you guys enter in the password learn2, it's going to bring you to this page, which is the login page for the software. Now if it's your first time coming here, you definitely want to head over to create new user and create your own account. Now once you're here, it's going to ask you for a zip code and if you have an email address or not. Regardless of whether you select you do or you don't have an email address, it will still give you your 6-digit ID number. This is just a way to save it in case you lose it. Alright, so for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to check that I do not have an email address, and for my zip code I'm going to hit that in, and I'm going to go to create new user ID, and then you're going to notice that it's going to give you a 6-digit ID number. If you guys remember earlier, when you actually doing your returns, you may notice that all of your clients' social security numbers have 6-digit X's in there. what you're going to do is you're going to replace these X's with your 6-digit ID number right here. Alright, and you guys definitely want to save this, because this is how you're going to be able to practice any of your returns, start new ones, look over your old ones, or continue your old ones if you didn't finish it the first time around. You're going to need to use the same user ID number. So once you get this, save it somewhere, make sure you don't lose it. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in with that user ID number they just gave me. I just copied and pasted it right here, and boom, it's going to bring you to the main page of the practice software. Now this is very similar to what the actual software looks like when you're going to be dealing with the live site. Over here you can start a new return, open an old return. Here you can populate all the returns that you've done, see your accepted, active, paper, rejected returns. These won't apply because you're not really going to be e-filing anything in the practice software, but it's just good to have an idea of where you can find everything. Alright, so this is pretty much how you get into the software and how you can start your new return. Let's say you want to do Rose Hudson. What you do is you go over here and you click start new return, and you just enter in the first 3 numbers, which is on her social security number. It says 021 and the 6 X's. So what you do is you put in 021 and then your 6 X's, and then you're going to re-enter that to confirm. You're going to hit go to tax forms, not interview mode. Alright guys, always go to tax form whenever you're starting a return or continuing it. And then once you do that, it's going to bring you to your main information sheet in your actual return. Now I'm not going to go into any more detail as far as the return itself, because we have other videos that actually do that. Alright, so this is just to kind of show you guys how you can get here, and from here you guys can figure out the rest from our other videos through the publication 4012 and any other research method that you might use. Now last but not least, I'm going to get into the homework spreadsheet that we use. Now once you guys collect your materials, you're going to be using you're going to be getting an email that has this spreadsheet attached to it. Now what this spreadsheet is for is to actually show us that you've completed your homework assignments. One thing to make note of is that we're not actually looking for you to get the right answer. We're just trying to look to see that you are practicing the returns and you are playing around with the software. That way we know that when you come back the next time, you should be at least up to speed with everything that was covered within the first session videos. Alright, so up here you're going to see a first name, last name. That's where you're going to enter your first name and your last name. These 4 lines here, it shows you where you can find the columns that we require for each return. Now the first line is going to be AGI, which can be found on the 1040 page 1, line 37. Just to show you guys where that is, if you go ahead over to your 1040 page 1 right here, which is on the left, and you scroll down. Alright, I'm scrolling right here. So at the bottom you're going to see number 37, adjusted gross income. Whatever number you guys have here, that is the number that we're looking for. So if you guys had 6481 as your AGI, you would head over to your homework spreadsheet, and for whatever respective problem that you're doing, you'd enter that in under the AGI column. So if you were doing Rose Hudson, then right here you would enter the 64841. Okay, taxable income, it's going to be on line 43. So what you do is you'd head over to your 1040 page 2, line 43, taxable income. Whatever number you have here, you'd put that in. The next 2 lines are going to be refund owed or refund due. If you are due a refund from the IRS, you'd find it on line 73. If you're going to be owing money to the IRS, you find that on line 76. And again, once you get your number, it's just a matter of copying and pasting or just retyping it inside these boxes with respect to the return that you're doing. Okay, Here this column actually shows you the page numbers for whatever assignment that you're going to be doing. So it tells you, problem 1 is on page 7, and this is in the publication 4491W, as it's boldly underlined right here. All problems are in the publication 4491W. So like here, if you refer to page 7, you would find the Rose Hudson exercise, and the same goes for the rest of them. So if you guys want to continue the rest, you just go ahead over to page 13, page 20, page 27, 35, 59, and 76. Once you guys have completed this, what we want you guys to do is to save it, send us an email with your name and this spreadsheet attached to it. Alright, this is going to be the indicator that shows that you guys have been practicing and that you have done the assignments, regardless of whether the answers are right or wrong. That is not what we're actually looking for. Alright, so pretty much this is what you guys should be working with between now and the next time that you attend your second training session. So once you look through your publication 4491W, your publication 4012, once you've completed these, returned, filled out your homework spreadsheet, you should be in gear, you should be ready for that second software session. And if you realize, while doing any of this, you have any problems, again, feel free to email us. That's going to be at arvitarecruiting2012@gmail.com. Any questions you guys have, you can either email us, or whenever you attend your next session, you can ask whoever it is that's in charge, or let them know that you had a problem, and from there you get the help that you need. All right, so once again, thank you guys for being a part of the program. We are glad to have you, and we hope that you will have a good experience over the next couple months. All right, thank you.